Hello friends, welcome back to Keep It Real and Just Do You, an effort by Mindy Spainhour. I wanted to start here on my YouTube channel and just say thank you to my 53 subscribers. Woo woo. My goal was 10 and I'm pretty satisfied with 53. Every person that hears a message and is blessed by it, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So keep subscribing and keep sharing me. I've had 735 page views and a total of around 2,000 watch time minutes in the past month. That means a lot, guys. I just wanted to show you also that I have links here to my Facebook page, KIR and JDY. And I also have a link here. If you click on it, it takes you to my TeeSPRING store. I started designing, let me show you, these t-shirts. Every one of them is done by photography or artwork by local people. And I put it on the shirt because these are images of finding your happy. And remember, my first episode was Find Your Happy. I have a couple of others coming up. Reach for the Sky, New Perspective. I had an episode called True North. I had one called Define Yourself. But each of these designs was created for a specific person. And bottom line, I'm going to tithe a percentage of my profits to our local crisis intervention center. I'd love for you to check these out. I have, let me scroll down a little bit. I have a teacher line. I have a fireman line. I have a nurse line. And I just recently created It's All Good line. So check these out, guys. Again, if you are on my YouTube channel, that link is here on the picture at the top of my YouTube channel. This week's episode, Wait Well, began writing itself last week as I learned to wait well. A series of events occurred that was unfortunate, but turned out to be the biggest blessing. My father was having some surgery last week, and so my sister and I had traveled to Winston with him to have his surgery. And my husband and I had both been sick the night before, both having symptoms resembling indigestion. Come to find out, mine was gallbladder. His was his heart, and he had a heart attack. Several, in fact, heart attacks over the next few hours, and ended up, long story short, while I was at surgery with my dad, my husband was driving himself to doctors and emergency rooms. I finally had my sister and dad drop me by the emergency room in High Point on their way back in from Winston after Dad's surgery. And Travis and I waited well in the emergency room while he was having heart attacks that we didn't know about. He went in. They finally were able to see one on the EKG as he was having it there in the emergency room, and within 30 minutes my husband had been operated on and a stent inserted into his heart. Yeah, it was one of those days. And this thought occurred to me while I sat there in disbelief about what was happening. Guys, we're all dying. Every single day that we're alive. That thought struck me with such clarity that I swear my soul itself sighed with relief. Now, I know that sounds weird, but I mean, sitting in that waiting room, I realized it's inevitable and most often unplanned. And that thought, you'd think, would definitely be scrutinized if I dared to utter it aloud while in the waiting room, and that thought would really freak out the people around me in the waiting room, so I kind of kept it to myself. But when I took a few more minutes, a few more seconds, and like I'm trying to teach you to do, I'm learning myself, I tried to further analyze that concept that seems so morbid and scary. And I actually began to see the beauty in how well I was waiting, and to see the beauty in life being the art of drawing without an eraser. You can't go back. You can't erase things and make them not happen. So you have to wait well. And I actually started praying silently to myself, and I was giving thanks for all of the patience and the training that I've learned through my teaching experiences. I started to remember tragedies that I've witnessed in my life and the people that I've lost in those tragedies, but then I forced myself to keep remembering and keep processing and think about how many of those tragic events actually ended well, and how many miracles I could remember happening because of terrible, tragic events, and the lives that were spared and how they were changed. I was so thankful for patience, and I thought, it's really not just waiting. It's how you behave while you wait. You can sit there and freak out, and you could cry and wail and woe is me, right? Or you can sit there and wait in faith. You can be strong enough to let go and wise enough to wait for what you deserve. Honestly, scientifically speaking, everything about our physical existence is tragic. Just by living, we're dying. And we're killing everything around us. From the air that we breathe in and the gases we exhale, to the soils that feed us, and then eventually our very existence feeds them. I always told my kids, everything you do and everything you don't do matters. It's that concept of equal but opposite reactions. Truth is, we cause so much harm in this world unintentionally, just by merely existing. But I do believe, and I have gained faith, that when we wait well, when we live well, when we wait with goodness, when we wait well, the bad truly never outweighs the good. And we've talked about goodness. We've talked about how it's hard to define goodness. And that's because of our different perspectives. We all see goodness in different things and in different ways. But I've seen enough goodness in bad situations to be able to tell you that I believe in goodness. I believe in it. More importantly, I have faith in goodness. I have so much faith in goodness that I trust the people and the circumstances around me to turn out as they will. I learned the concept of faith on a whole different level sitting in that waiting room. Because in trusting, I gained confidence in the outcome being completely out of my hands. And I gained confidence in understanding that the outcome would be good. See, faith and belief are the two words confused quite often, but are foundation to everything you need to live happily. The definition of faith says, complete trust or confidence in something or someone. Y'all, my faith is in goodness. And we have to wait with faith. True faith is belief in the reality of absolute values. Do you remember that from math class? Positives and negatives. But you got to look at that absolute value. You have to wait with patience. You have to understand that the answers will come when they come. You can wait in fear, or you can wait in faith. I was today years old when I truly understood that concept, y'all. Today years old. I don't want you to struggle any more than you have to understand that. Religious beliefs, like history itself, is a story that is always unfolding, always subject to inquiry and ripe for questioning. For without doubt, there is no faith. So I'm completely going off my script here for just a minute, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I see I only have 4 minutes anyway, so this one might be a two-parter as well. I did a little research because when you're talking about faith, there's so many definitions. It depends on who you ask as to what the definition's going to be, unless you look it straight up in the dictionary. But faith always brings a discussion on religion. And religion's always hard to talk about. So here's what I did real quick. I looked up the world population today. That's 7.7 billion. 31.5% of our world claims Christianity as a religion. 23% claims Islam. 15% Hinduism. 7.1% Buddhism. 5.9% folk religion. That's a total of 82.7% of people. Does that mean 17.3% have no religion because they don't claim a religion? Does that mean 17.3% of us don't have faith? That's 1.3 billion people, y'all. That is number 3 on the religion statistics, is claiming no religion. Definition of religion is a controversial subject in which scholars are unable to agree on any one definition. Religion is a bunch of words. I've learned that there have to be different stories to invoke a universal spiritual concept. You know, the stories of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, St. Nicholas. Think if those stories had never been told. We've been teaching them wrong, though, guys, and that makes us think about those stories wrong. And so when we get older and we realize Santa Claus isn't real, the Tooth Fairy isn't real, the Easter Bunny isn't real, all these things we believed in as kids aren't real, it starts making you question, well, what other things aren't real? Next week I want to talk to you a little more, pick up where I left off on religion, and then I want to get back and finish this one on faith, because there's a good message here. But I'm going to speed through so that I can get your resources on here today. Every day is a beautiful day. Every day is a good day, if you choose to just do you. I love you guys. Stay good.